As part of the multi-company artificial intelligence plan aimed at making the U.S. the center of the industry, Apple recently announced its major investment into the American workforce is going to be opening up data centers throughout different parts of the country. And breaking just this morning, Foxconn confirms its Lordstown facility, which was sold to SoftBank, will be a manufacturing hub for data center equipment. The confirmation comes after we've been reporting for weeks now that this would likely happen for that use of that facility here on 21 News. Joining us to talk about the need for AI servers is someone who is well versed in the tech field, Anna Katrina Shedletsky. She is the CEO of Instrumental, a tech writer for Forbes, and a former Apple engineer. Thank you for taking the time, Anna.
Great to be here to talk about this important issue.
Yes, so you predict the amount of equipment that needs to go inside all of the data centers needs to triple this year. How do you see plants like the one here in Lordstown, Ohio, becoming a pivotal part of that supply chain?
Yeah. First, it needs to triple because of the massive amount of investment that's gone into these public announcements. Over $1.2 trillion just in the first quarter of 2025 were announced. And if you look at the capacity of the U.S. and and maybe North America more broadly to actually build these, we're not operating at capacity to consume that much investment. About 60% of that top line number will go into the equipment that actually goes into these data centers. So for folks who are less well versed, that means like server trays and racks. If you've seen kind of pictures, that iconic picture of a data center, that's all these aisles of rack after rack after rack. That is the equipment that's going to consume a lot of that investment. And right now, the U.S. capacity, while still quite good, is nowhere near being able to consume such a large amount of investment. And so there are a lot of manufacturing facilities being opened around North America broadly, so not just within the United States, but also in Mexico, to essentially build the equipment to go into these data centers. And the equipment itself is pretty challenging to build, so it's not just something that you can, set up and be running a couple weeks later. It's a pretty significant investment to even build one of these facilities.
Oh, wow. How much of a drain on the electrical grid do you think those facilities are going to have? Because we're wondering, do we have the capacity to power these data centers?
Well, I'm sure your local municipalities have reviewed the power plans required, but maybe to talk a little bit about why there's so much power required in these facilities. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but you've probably heard that data centers themselves take lots of power to run. So why would the factory making those products take a lot of power? And the reason is because every single one of those servers is powered up and tested extensively during the manufacturing process. And in many sites across the United States, it's actually that power need for testing that drives the power usage in the factory and actually gates throughput out of the factory. And part of the reason for that gating throughput and slowing down how much can come out is because it's actually really hard to build these things. And many of them don't pass on the first attempt. And so you put it into test, and then you'll have some failures that will require some rework and debug, and then you'll put it into test again.
What kind of jobs do these tech hubs provide? Is it, folks that have to put things together? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so inside one of these factories, it'll be an air-conditioned facility, I'm sure. It'll be a nice place to work, and there'll be a wide variety of jobs. So in order to build these, it's a very manual process. There's not a ton of automation. And so there's a wide variety of technician jobs to actually do the assembling of both sub-assembly components, think like boards with different things attached to them, as well as wiring those up and into the trays. There'll be testing engineering jobs to actually do that testing process, to do debug and repair technicians, and then also those get racked up. And the racking process is this whole other art on its own. So if you're one of those people that really likes everything in its place, all those wires just perfect, this is a potentially interesting opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
And so they all get wired up, tested, QA'd, quality checked, and essentially ready for ship out. So there's going to be a wide variety just in the actual assembly, but then there's all the staff to support that. So think about quality, think about the facilities needs of a huge factory like this. So I think there's going to be a huge opportunity for jobs in the local economy.
All right, everyone's watching to see how this all unravels and how we're part of that supply chain. So Anna Katrina, appreciate your expertise. Thank you so much for taking time to join us here at 5.
Yeah, thanks.